So what we're going to do today is we're going to work a little bit on just the offside forehand shot. And I got to tell you, I could spend 2 days telling you a lot of different ways to hit the ball. And if you're a beginner, hopefully who's ever got you started is giving you some fairly good information. And unfortunately, it's not always the right information, but sometimes you got to go with what you've been given, and you just hope it works, and then just try to improve upon it. And if you've got good coaching available, then always have a professional look at your swing, and hopefully you can improve upon it. So anyways, before I even get hitting, I just want to go through a few things. And basically, when you're on a stationary horse, you want to really sort of get it in your head that you're on a real horse. You want to feel like you're kind of almost in the same zone, but obviously you're not moving. And this is good in a sense because you can really work on your balance. We sort of have to get up in the saddle when we're on a moving horse, and when you get up on this horse, even though it's stationary, you're still, you can be a little bit off balance. So it helps you sort of with your balance, which is a good thing, okay? So having said that, let's just say we're out here, we're going to hit this ball. You're playing polo. Where do you carry your mallet? Okay, most of the time you carry it here, because you want to be prepared. If the plate changes, you can go, to the near side, to the offside. Very seldom do people gallop around carrying it like this. Some Argentines do that, but basically you want to sort of like a sword fighter, you're always in a ready position. So we're going to start like that. Now, as we get ready to swing, obviously the swing starts from the ground up. We want to feel that sort of weight in our stirrups, sort of almost like you feel your ankles with a little pressure in them. And that way we're kind of in that sort of that ready position. So as we get ready to swing, we want to start from the bottom up. We're going to turn the hip, rotate the hip. That's going to allow the shoulder to turn. And then here, let's say we're just going to work on a half swing. We're going to bring the mallet back here, and we're going to sort of try to have about a 90-degree sort of angle in the mallet from the wrist up to the top of the stick there. And then basically as we're turned, we come down and we come through the ball. Okay, a lot of people, when they begin playing polo, they get confused and they sort of want to pick the mallet up, just sort of get it up here and out here. But remember, we've got to keep this mallet on this plane, this sort of imaginary straight line from there to there, okay? Now if we're picking it up like this, well, my mallet's going all sorts of different directions, and then we're coming sort of from the outside to the inside, and we're doing all sorts of weird stuff. So the simplest way to tell you is when you get ready to swing, if you're just going to do a half swing, if that's all you know, and that's where you're getting started, is to sort of get almost in a hand gallop position where you're getting up out of the saddle. You rotate, you watch my toes turn, you see the right one come out, the left one come in. This left shoulder is going to turn like this, and almost feel as though your elbow is dragging across the side of your body, and you want that arm almost straight back like that, back and down and through. Okay? Now, one of the biggest flaws in these beginner players, and even a lot of seasoned players that just don't have time to practice, is the actual body rotation. Okay? How much do you turn? Boy, oh geez, that feels pretty good. Oh yeah, that's too much. No, that's not enough, whatever. A simple way to sort of check yourself is just take your mallet, and it's going to surprise you how sort of intense it is. But if you lay that mallet across your chest just like that, and you get up and turn, well, all of a sudden, wow, that's a really pretty severe shoulder turn, okay? But when you can get your shoulders in that position, all of a sudden it allows you to have that mallet in an absolute straight line, where it's 90 degrees from my arm, of course, but when it comes down, it's coming down straight down this line, and it's lagging behind your hand, and as it hits the ball, it continues and goes straight towards your target, okay? So that to me is one of the most important sort of things to remember as a beginner, to have a really, really big shoulder turn. And a lot of it's due to the fact that they're not strong riders, and they're intimidated to turn and to rotate their hip and all that stuff. So, this is where you can really help work on that by, on a stationary object. So again, we turn that hip, and all of a sudden, look at my left toe. It's almost pointing in to the horse's stomach. My right toe is not quite as intense because we don't want to get it too cocked out here because you're liable to catch your mallet with it. And then basically we just bring it up here and down and through the ball. Now, having said that, with this sort of half swing we're looking at, if you want a little more power, well then guess what? We've got to bring it a little taller. Instead of being here, we're more up here, okay? We got more of an arc, more of an angle. So we're back here and then down and through, okay? Now, simple enough. That's the start of the swing. Now when we get down to the actual swing itself, there's a misconception with a lot of players, and a lot of beginners especially, novices, amateurs that just don't practice that much, that when they swing, they want to stop the ball. They want to just all of a sudden swing as hard as they can and put the brakes on. You know, it's sort of defeating the purpose. I mean, we're trying to generate as much sort of power through the ball as we can. So what we do is as we swing through the ball, we literally feel like we're shaking hands with the target. We're trying to extend our upper arm down and through. I'm reaching for the ball, okay? I'm reaching, I've hit it. I want to keep my mallet on that ball for as long as I can. And then on the finish, just release the mallet. You know what I mean? Just absolutely, just, you know, a lot of people, they say, well, what the hell is he just doing there? And they do this. They like, you know, that's not what you want to do. It's almost like you're letting go with your hand on your finish. Okay? And that way, you're keeping your momentum, because anytime you think for a second about stopping the mallet, believe it or not, you're losing energy down through the ball. Another important aspect of hitting properly is, gosh, where do I hit this ball, you know, when I'm running full speed? A lot of people think it's back here off the stirrup. It's actually, no, it's more off the sort of what I call the point of the pony's shoulder, because you got to remember you're running, whether it's 20 miles an hour, 30, 35, 40, whatever. And if you start back here, you're going to be late. You're not going to be able to get your mallet through the ball. So ball placement is very important. And there's always been an adage called ride your pony to the ball. So it's very important, if you're going straight downfield, to make sure you align yourself very, very carefully to the ball, even though you know, you're probably hell-bent for leather to get there. So you don't want to be too close, you don't want to be too far away. You want to have it there where, again, when we make this turn, you know, that we are absolutely, you know, straight over the top of the ball. We're catching it right sort of at the very, very most powerful, highest sort of speed of my downswing, and then snapping through the ball and finishing. Now, in slow motion, if I had to show you, I'm going to just sort of show you in slow motion. On your finish, when you come through the ball, it's almost like the golf swing, where you're trying to get a little draw on the ball. You release. You come through, your shoulders turned. As you drop your arm, your upper body's coming with it. Your shoulders are sort of turning a little bit, but not only that, but your arm, as it comes down through the ball, it absolutely, as it goes through the ball, it rotates left, okay? That gives you added power, okay? Because what's happening is we're putting right to left spin on the ball versus left to right spin. Now, if you're a golfer, you know when the ball is going from the right to the left, it's running, it's going this way. When you go from the left to the right, it's going backwards, so it's putting on the brakes. So if you want a little more power, you want to make sure you finish with a little more of a roll in that wrist over the ball, okay? That gives you a little bit of draw spin. Now, when we're cutting the ball, again on ball position, we got to have that ball a little further out away from our horse, okay? Obviously, when you turn to swing, you're going to have to get that mallet more in here to go out there. So how are you going to do that if the ball's up under your horse like this, or in the usual position for just the offside forehand? So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to do the rotation and everything, but we're going to bring the mallet a little more from the inside, and we're going to sort of have the ball a little bit more away from us, and we're going to open the face of that mallet, and we're going to let it go out to the right, okay? This is just what's called a simple cut shot, okay? I'm going to hit you another one of those. But just remember, ball position is very, very key. Okay, and especially when you're running a turn on a horse and you're going to the right, the horse, you got to remember, is sort of leaning into that turn. Everything's sort of a little more under that sort of that turn, that angle. So if you're too close to the ball, your mallet's going to hit the ground, your heel's going to catch, and you're going to turn the ball to the left. Okay, so you got to have it far enough away where you can actually reach behind it and open it. Okay, we just want to finish with that club face open. Now that is sort of, when you're coming through for the open shot, you're going to have that sort of that palm more sort of facing the target, whereas when you're coming for the forehand or even a little bit to the left, you know, as we come through, we're actually closing that palm. That palm is turning over to the left. Okay, there's a lot of swings out there, like I told you. Obviously, the half swing is the easiest. It's the easiest to teach. It's the quickest, the simplest. You know, we're here, we're back, we're down, we're through. It's all good. But you can't quite get the mallet head speed that you can with a full swing. If you watch a lot of the good players in the world today, I'm going to say 100% of them take a full swing. Now, a full swing is basically where, again, we're riding like this, and we're just basically going to drop the mallet down here and then make one revolution through the ball. Okay? Seems so easy, but my God, is it hard for a beginner to sort of catch that concept? Because the minute you ask them to drop the mallet, it's like this. They just want to power that thing from the get-go. So here's the key, okay? When you're taking a full swing, yeah, we're going to do the body turn, we're going to get all the angles right. But the most important thing here is we've got to be timed, because it's going to take longer to take a full swing than a half swing, obviously. So we got to start our swing a little sooner. And when I say that, that means basically all I want you to do is almost drop the mallet like it's a dead weight, okay? And when you get to the bottom, that's when we make sort of we power up the swing, okay? So here we are, we sort of drop and then through the ball, okay? One of the biggest sort of errors I see in play, everybody's under pressure, you know? Leave it, hurry, go, you know, your team's chasing you, they're all screaming at you, the other team's going after you. So everybody's a little jumpy and they're all trying to swing too hard and they're sort of hoping they're going to hit it and they're coming up out of their shot. Again, keep your eye on the ball a little longer than you think, okay? Old adage in golf, every time you look up, you're going to see a bad shot. Same deal with polo. You've got to keep your head down. And what happens when you keep your head down, it's just all about focus. You want to be so focused on this ball that really, I've learned and found that I'm not just looking at the ball, I'm actually looking at right where the ball sort of sits in the ground. Now you're going to say, now how the hell can you do that? You don't have time to do that, but it's all about focus. If you can get your focus level up that notch, you know, you'd be surprised what you're capable of doing, okay? So, when you come through that ball, whether it's a full swing or a half swing, one of the things that I found, especially when you're knocking in or hitting penalty shots, is staying through the shot, okay? And what I like to do is almost feel as though when I hit this ball, I'm putting my mallet on that thing and I'm going to carry that ball for a little bit of a distance. Another way of doing it is, imagine you've got, let's say, a small loaf of bread right here in front of this ball, okay? And you're going to hit through that ball, and after you've hit that ball, you're going to slice that loaf of bread in half, okay? That way you stay down through the ball, and after you've hit through the ball, you want to do that extension I told you about. Almost really reach, you know, like you're reaching out to shake hands, and your mallet is finishing exactly where you want it to finish. You say, I'm going to goal, well then you're aiming right in the dead center of the goal, or if you're taking the ball across field or whatever, you got to stay down through the shot, okay? So we're going to come down through and we're going to, and now I know I didn't release the mallet, but still, when you're working on a wooden horse or aluminum horse, whatever it is, work on every aspect of the swing, okay? Staying down through the ball. Okay, now I'm gonna practice on my finish, my release, okay? So anyways, we've covered a few pretty basic swing thoughts on the offside forehand, okay? But again, one of the concerns I have for all you beginners and intermediate players is just practice quality, not quantity, And one of the things that I see so often is everyone's hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting, and our ego always gets the best of us. We want to hit the ball a little further, a little straighter, a little of this, a little that. It's all good, but still, you can't get in a mode where you're just banging, you're just hammering away at balls. You've got to, every shot, you want to feel it, you want to think about it, you want to tell yourself, well, that did this because of this, you know what I mean? So, all I can tell you is just practice quality, not quantity, okay? So, we're going to touch one more time on the whole process, and we're going to do the full swing. We're galloping down the field. As we get ready to hit, we start our rotation. Our hip turns, all of a sudden, our shoulders coming around, our mallet sort of falls, and from the bottom, it goes all the way around, okay? And then we're here. Whether we finish with the release, or if we're just hitting the 3/4 shot, we're finishing here. But the main thing is, we don't want to do one of these. I see all these amateurs, they lose their balance, okay? You've got to have good balance on the horse, proper turn, down and through, and off you go.